Niners fans, it's about that time. 7:30 on a Monday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, it's a pleasure to be on with the faithful, the Niner Empire. Some of the best fans, y'all know it, in the NFL. We're obviously a day after the final preseason game versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Niners, won that game. It was very nice to see. First, shout out to everyone watching on Jay and the Bay Facebook, Jay and the Bay YouTube channel, also on the Spotlight Sports Network YouTube and Spotlight Sports Network Facebook page. I do have a special guest on with me tonight, but first, I got to say, y'all know it. What's good? To all the people in the chat. So let's do that. Let's do that right now. Okay, let's see who we got. We got Luke Luna. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Luke. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. He says, get your likes in now for Jay in the Bay. What's good? To Niners 49 for life. The first time I've seen you in the stream. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. As you can tell, we talking about the Niner Empire. But I appreciate you coming in. Monica, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Monica. She says someone already disliked the video before it started again. Hey, Monica, I told you I can't please everybody, Monica. Monica says I'm going to throw those hands when I find out who those new haters on your videos are. Man, that must mean I really made it, right? If there are people hating on me, what can I say, man? Monica says, Jay in the Bay and Bashar, 49er Minded Part 2. Let's get it. Absolutely. Let's see. Young Hitter, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. Thanks for tuning in. He says, hopefully we're having a wonderful, blessed night. Absolutely, we are. Jay, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Thanks for coming through. And, of course, we have a special guest tonight. He has his own YouTube channel. He's got IG. He's got Twitter. He is a up-and-coming 49er YouTuber. All his information, his social media information is in the description of this video. Make sure you check him out. He goes by the name of Bashar, and he represents 49er Minded. So let's give him a warm welcome to Jay in the Bay.
What's up, man? I'm so happy to be on here. My day has gone well, and it's going to be even better now that I'm on here. So.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. It's always good to talk about the Niner Empire and the faithful, of course. We had a great game yesterday from a 49er fan perspective. Unfortunately, we did have some bad news that surfaced today. Actually, I found out about it about 3 hours ago. What were your initial thoughts about when you heard the injury about Trey Lance?
It didn't surprise me at all because it looked like he got hurt when I was watching the game, and then I guess he was playing through it. And like you were telling me before the show started, it was probably one of those things where, we've all had that when we played football in high school, or if you're just playing pickup games. Most people play basketball pickup games. We get that little injury and we get hurt during the game, but we play through the adrenaline, and then we wake up the next morning and it's all sore and puffy. So that's probably what it is. But Jimmy, we all know that Jimmy's pretty much going to be the starter week one, and they, from what they said, it was 7 days, and you said it might be more. We never know with this team, but we'll see. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I was glad when I saw the notification pop up on my phone. I was like, holy smokes, this is Trey Lance. This is the young bull. This is the future of the franchise. And hopefully I was just thinking it wasn't serious. It wasn't season ending. Unfortunately, it's not. As you mentioned, he's only going to be out 7 days. I mean, that's what we hope. I think it's a case where, I'm not a doctor, but I think they said 7 days. They'll reevaluate him as the days go on and see how he goes. And then we'll see at the end of the 7 days, is he still injured? Is he ready to throw a football? Does he have any limitations? I'm sure he'll be reevaluated within 7 days, and hopefully, everything is clear and he's ready to go. I gotta say, what's good to Corwin 719?
What's up, Corwin?
Good, Bashar. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Thanks for supporting Bashar and Jay in the Bay. I appreciate you coming through. Let's see. Waruna, what's good? Thanks for tuning
Waruna
in to the
Pereira.
stream. All right. And he says, love the background, Bashar. All right. Yeah, that is a nice background with the faithful flag. Shout out and what's good to Packers Productions. He says, congrats on 1K. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Also, Amin the Dream, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, man. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. All right, so obviously that was a hell of a game from a 49er standpoint yesterday against the Raiders. I don't know how you feel, but I wish the Raiders would have played their starters. But obviously that didn't happen. What were your thoughts on the game? What did you see that was good? What did you see that needed to be improved, if anything?
Well, whether they played their starters or not, I had a lot of joy in it because it's always fun for me to see the 49ers beat down the Raiders. So I had enjoyment in it. Growing up as when I first latched on and really became a big-time 49er fan, I was in junior high, and I'd get so mad when I see all the kids in junior high wearing those Raiders starter jackets. And right away, I was like, I'm a Niner fan. I hate seeing all this Raiders stuff all over the place. But, sure. I mean, sure, if Derek Carr played, we would have maybe gotten a better idea about how our first-string defense may look against a guy like Derek Carr. The Raiders actually, on paper, and in general, they are a really good offensive team. They score points. They put points on the board. They just are terrible defensively. So, but, we didn't have Bashar or Ford out there either. But I just love what I seeing from our defense the whole preseason, whether it be first, second string, or third string. So.
Yeah, and, as I mentioned before, it's unfortunate the starters didn't play, but it was great just to see the 49ers out there, playing their starters, playing our starters, and it was also good just to see them execute. That was one of the things I wanted. I had mentioned in my pregame live stream yesterday. I was like, hey, I want to see Jimmy G take the offense down the field, which he did along with Trey on the first two drives, and they scored a touchdown. That's what I wanted to see from Jimmy. And Jimmy, laying it all on the line, running into the end zone. He wasn't taking any prisoners. He was going to score a touchdown on that play. It was definitely good to see. I definitely got out of my couch. I was excited. I mean, I think that's great, not only for Jimmy, it's great for team morale. You saw how his teammates congratulated him on that touchdown. And, it was definitely good to see. Were you surprised that Jimmy went for it all the way for that touchdown?
I'm glad he ran because if he's going to be playing and be starting, it's good to be more aggressive and running certain plays. But I don't know, that was a kamikaze mission. That's not. I mean, I don't. Especially if Jimmy wants to be the starter the whole season, and we're not. I just don't think it's. He's just got to tone it down just a little bit, because you know what can happen in the NFL. One little hit here and there on a quarterback and. We're here. This time around we have Trey Lance as a backup. Obviously, it's a better situation. But when we were stuck with Mullins and CJ as the quarterback, we weren't going to go to the playoffs or anything like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay Mallison. He's always watching my channel. I think he's a big follower of your channel as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Shout out to Jay. He's always on the 49ers.
Speaking of Jay, I just want to say when you're watching Jay in the Bay, it's must see TV. That's for my boy Amin. That's for Amin the Dream. He likes it when I say that. So
I appreciate that, man. That's too kind of you, man. But yeah, on that Jimmy run, obviously he's risking injury, right? I mean, every time you step on the field, you're risking injury. But it was just great to see him. I wasn't expecting that. Clearly, from my response, I wasn't expecting that. It was great to see, and I love that he went in and got that touchdown. I gotta say, what's good to 49ers First Takes.
What's up, First Takes?
Another excellent YouTuber. Obviously talks about the red and gold. It's good to see that you're here. Looks like we have a fan in Monica. She said,
hey, what's up, Monica?
Duo. All right. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate everyone. If you hit that like button, let YouTube and I know and Bashar know that you're enjoying the stream. Also hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to Bashar on his YouTube channel. His link is in the description. And feel free to subscribe to Jay in the Bay. Now, going back to the game, were there any defensive players on the Niners who impressed you?
Who impressed me? I heard a lot of good things about Zach Kerr when we first picked him up. For some odd reason, I did not know of his name before we signed him. Bad on my part because I actually attended a Carolina Panthers game when they played the Niners in Levi's. But I heard a lot of good things about him when we did pick him up, and just throughout the preseason, he's looked good. But he just looks like he just has that mad dog, mean bruiser mentality. When you look at his face, it's like he's not the guy you want to encounter in the dark alley. Him or Kinlaw, so to speak. They just both got that scary look, and we need that scary look. I thought when we had Buckner, and we still have Armstead, but when we had Buckner and Armstead playing side by side, even as productive as they were together and as great as Buckner was, I always felt like it was like the Jolly Green Giants out there. But I want some mean, tough dogs out there, and Zach Kerr looks like he's going to be bringing it this year.
Absolutely. And speaking of that defensive line, man, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the Niners do. How many players will they keep on the defensive line? Because it seems like we have a lot of depth. That seems like an area that we're very strong in is the defensive line. We could keep 10, maybe 11 players. And obviously Zach Kerr would be a great addition to the team. Hopefully he can make the 53-man active roster. What do you think? Do you think the Niners will keep more than 10 defensive linemen, or do you think they'll keep it at 8? What do you think?
More than 10, that would be crazy. I think they probably just cap it at 10 and throw a few guys on the practice squad and cross their fingers that nobody takes them. But it's a business. Somebody's going to, teams got to win. There's going to be teams out there with holes. And it's just that, we're going to have to cut some really good players this year. I honestly, I look at the depth of this team and I think like, in certain facets, it's a deeper team than the 2019 Super Bowl team. Now, do we make the Super Bowl? No, it's not a guarantee, but hey, we might. You never know if the cards fall our way. But in terms of depth, this is it sucks to see good players go, and we're going to be seeing it in the next few days.
And I would say it's a great problem to have, and I think Lynch has set this franchise up with success with the moves he's made this offseason, and that was one area where we had to get better. We had to add more talent. Defensive line, running back, secondary. I think offensive line, I think Lynch did an excellent job with that. And it'll be interesting to see how that 53-man active roster shapes out. And I got to say, I like Varuna's comment. He says, yesterday, my wife asked me to take out Raiders. Actually, she meant trash.
Good job. Yeah. I like it. Love it. Love it.
That's pretty good, Varuna. I got to say, what's good?
Hey, what's up, Mose?
Thanks for coming through to the stream. He says, Jay and Bashar, what's good, fellas? Hey, we doing pretty good on a Monday night. Manuel Martinez, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, what it do, Jay? I'm doing pretty good. Corey Davis, thanks for
Corey Davis.
What's good? He says hello at 49er Minded and at Jay and the Bay. Now, side note, I've heard a lot of people talk about the quarterback depth chart. And Kyle Shanahan in the past has always kept 3 quarterbacks. Obviously last year, Jimmy, Nick, CJ. So for this year, do you think Shanahan will keep 3 quarterbacks, or do you think he'll keep, only 2?
I'm thinking only 2, and we cut Sudfeld perhaps. I'm not impressed with Sudfeld at all. Did not like what I see with the guy. I don't know what Kyle thinks, but in my opinion, if they get a chance to snag a better quarterback that's out there who could be better than Sudfeld, I wouldn't be surprised if they snag him. Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who would be available that's even better than Sudfeld. It's just not sure how deep the NFL quarterback market is these days. I haven't really been following the other teams, their backups, but it's just we'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned tomorrow is a cut down day. All the NFL teams have to go from 80 players to 53. That's 27 players that's going to be cut. That's a lot of players. And I think it's a good problem to have when you have a lot of depth on the team, as I've stated before. And if the Niners don't keep 3 quarterbacks on hand, they can keep an extra wide receiver. They can keep an extra defensive lineman, keep an extra corner. And I think there's 16 players that can be put on the practice squad. Maybe Sudfeld could be on the practice squad, and that way we could still, keep him on the team. And basically he'll be like an emergency starter if we need him for a game. But hopefully, we won't need a third-string quarterback to play meaningful snaps in the season. That's all we can really do.
If we're going to need a third QB, then we're obviously going straight to the top 5 picks of the draft again.
Yeah,
without trading up. Exactly,
we would be in big trouble. Let's
Oh, I
see.
forgot to say this.
Yeah.
I was telling my friends this about the Raider, and because some people were trying to still say it's the Battle of the Bay. I was like, no, it's not the Battle of the Bay. It's the Kings of the Bay versus Mandalay Bay. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because it's unfortunate that the Raiders moved. There's no longer the Battle of the Bay. As you mentioned earlier in the stream, you said, hey, back in high school, there used to be that Raider Niner rivalry. And I remember that as well. I was on the Niner side, of course, and a lot of people were Raiders fans, and we were always clashing. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they moved to Vegas. But it's no longer the Battle of the Bay. But I am looking forward to when the Niners and Raiders play again in the regular season. So that way there's actual, bragging rights, because a lot of Raider fans now are saying, hey, the game didn't count. We didn't play our starters, which is very true. Crying, exactly. Very true. But, at least give us credit. The 49ers executed. The Raiders did it. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Luke Luna says Jimmy was just showing that he's ready to play differently and more aggressive. It shows he's not scared and he's confident in his health. What do you think about that?
That's good if he's going to be more aggressive out there, because we don't want a tentative Jimmy or whoever the quarterback is for that is, if they're starting for us. We want them to be aggressive. We want them to be confident. And if you sense some heat, and you're about to get sacked or whatever, you want the quarterback to run regardless of who it is. You don't want him to sit there and take a freaking 15-yard sack, or at least have more awareness and throw the ball away. But yeah, sure. Obviously, I hope he's more confident, and he seems to be more aggressive, so that's good.
Absolutely. He is what I think he's going on 2 years removed from that torn ACL injury he suffered. Or is it 3 years now? I think it might be 3 years now. Yeah. So this is the third year. He's not playing with that knee brace. He's got nothing to lose. He knows that his days are numbered in San Francisco. Obviously, Trey Lance is sitting right behind him, or some would say next to him. And, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's letting it all hang out. And I think this is a year where Jimmy needs to prove that he can still be a starter in the NFL. And hopefully this game will lead to, a lot of more victories in the regular season. But great comment, Luke. Um, let's see. So going back to the game, were there any offensive players who impressed you during the Raiders game? If you can, just name one.
Well, definitely name this. Oh, I kind of have two though. Kind of have two
Yeah,
because
yeah, that's fine.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, because one we never saw until this game.
Okay.
But as far as the whole preseason in general, who at first I had no idea who he was up until when we played that KC game. I had no knowledge he was even on the roster. Was a boring position, obviously. Backup center. I'm an offensive line guy. Backup center Jake Brindle. I believe he only has 3 years of NFL experience. Journeyman type guy. And if you saw him in that Raider game yesterday, he was opening up some crazy holes in the running game. He pass protected well, and that was good to see, because last year we went we went through about 5 different centers at one point last year. It was like the merry-go-round at center, or the round robin as they say. So we got Alex Mack as a starter, and Jake Brendel, some journeyman type guy. It looks like he's receptive to coaching, and he fits our zone scheme properly. So far, he's doing well. The other guy he finally played in the preseason game was Elijah Mitchell. I knew he was a really fast, speedy guy coming out, and I heard he had some weight on him at 210. This guy looks like a little bowling ball type fire hydrant, man. He is, man. I mean, I get it that Hasty looks really good out there, but if we cut Hasty and keep Elijah Mitchell, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. I'm just saying, man, that guy looks like he's got some promise.
No, great answers. Definitely, we definitely need a backup center, especially with Alex Mack. At the advanced age he is, no doubt he's a veteran presence on this offensive line. But it's always good to have depth along that offensive line. And you mentioned it, Elijah Mitchell. I was disappointed, like a lot of 49er fans, when he got hurt. This was the first, as you mentioned, the first preseason game he's played, and I think the Niners have a great problem on their hands with the amount of talent in the running back room. I think Elijah Mitchell can contribute in special teams, which he showed. First play of the game on kickoff coverage, Elijah Mitchell runs down the field, makes the opening tackle. He can definitely contribute special teams, maybe in punt return, kick return, and then also, of course, in the offense. So I would be surprised if Hasty makes the roster over Mitchell. I would be surprised, but maybe at least one of those running backs will be on the practice squad, because I would be surprised if the Niners keep 5 running backs, including Juice. Would that surprise you, or do you think one of them would be on the practice squad?
It would definitely surprise me without a doubt.
Yeah, cool. And I gotta say, we have royalty in the chat. We have a 49er legend in the chat. We have Joe Montana.
Joe
What's
Montana, number 16.
good? He says, I told the Raider fans leaving the game Sunday that the airport is that way. Back to Vegas. That's pretty good. I appreciate you for coming through, Joe. And gotta say, what's good to Blue True? Thanks for coming into the stream. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. And also appreciate that $3 super chat. Blue True says, what's good? Niner Empire. Happy Monday. Absolutely. And I appreciate that super chat. And thanks for supporting Jay in the Bay. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll through the comments real quick. Let's see. Monica says, haha, good. Tell them, go back to Mandalay Bay. As Bashar would say, that's the only bay they own. That's funny.
Yeah.
Mandalay Bay. That's pretty good. I'm looking forward to when the Niners play the Raiders. Obviously, I hope it's in Santa Clara, but hey, who wouldn't mind a trip going to Vegas and beating the Niners, or excuse me, beating the Raiders in their home stadium? That would be pretty good. Coach Dante, what's good? Thanks for coming through to the stream, Coach Dante. He's a Spotlight Sports Network brother.
What's up, Coach?
Says, what's up, my boy Jay? It's all good on a Monday night. And thanks for tuning in to the stream. All right. Now we have to talk about one of the most talked about players on the team that doesn't play quarterback.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, he's had several injury-ridden years. He made his mark in 2019 in the preseason game when he had 2 touchdown catches, and since then he hasn't sniffed the field until yesterday. So the question is, did Jalen Hurd do enough to deserve a roster spot on the active 53-man roster?
He did okay yesterday. He didn't have like the spectacular wild plays. I wish they would have targeted him in the red zone when we were close at the goal line. That would have been nice just to see, get him a touchdown or so, but that didn't happen. If in my opinion, if Shanahan's saying he's one of the best 6 receivers on the team, it sounds like he must have made an impression on him some way or another. I know he wasn't practicing every single day and he'd have a little bump and bruise or some type of nagging injury. And I'll be honest, I took a lot of bumps and bruises this offseason defending Jalen Hurd, and many times I bit my tongue. But if he makes the squad and he produces in the regular season, I might get the last laugh. So I like the guy. Reason why I like him. How often have we had a 6'4", 235-pound receiver with the agility and the big play potential that this guy has with the run after catch ability? It's not something you see every day. Now, of course, he's been gone 2 years, which sucks. You can rag on him all you want, but hey, we're the same team that waited on Verrett. Verrett almost missed a full 3 years of football. I mean, so he produced for us. So if they're gonna have the patience for Verrett, why are they so willing to say cut Jalen Hurd before training camp even started? So I don't get it. If they hate him on a personal level, that's fine with them. I don't. So I like him and I want him to succeed. So if you don't like that, I'll feel sorry for you. I'm sorry.
No, that's a great point. I want to mention 2 things you said. One was that we haven't had a 6'4" receiver really in this offense, in a while. I mean, we had Randy Moss. He was on the back 9 of his career. Of course, we had, one of my favorite 49ers of all time, T.O. We had like J.J. Stokes. But I'm trying to remember, we haven't really had a big-bodied receiver who is athletic and as gifted as Jalen Hurd. And you also have you make a great point about Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett was allowed to, come to the team. But I think the difference with Jason Verrett is, he was a first-round pick, but he wasn't drafted by the Niners. He was drafted by the Chargers. The Niners brought him in on a 1-year deal. There weren't really much expectations from Jason Verrett. Unfortunately for Verrett and the Niners, he's panned out. Hopefully he can have another Pro Bowl healthy season. And with Jalen Hurd, he was a 3rd-round pick. That's a high draft pick, in the NFL draft. And he's shown flashes that he could be pretty good. But we've just had, the first year, the back injury, the second year, the torn ACL. I just want to see him put together consistent practices, consistent games. And as far as yesterday, I thought it was an accomplishment just for him to get on the field, just to play in a competitive environment against, a different team than the Niners. He looked a little rusty, as you can expect. He hasn't played in 2 years. He had some drop passes. But as you mentioned, Shanahan said that he's one of the 6 best wide receivers. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Who would be, if you were John Lynch, you were Shanahan, who would be the 6 receivers you have
this is
on the active roster?
You hit me with the hard one. Can I say what's up to a couple people in the chat really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I saw Joey Mahoney in the chat, good buddy of mine. He's in the chat. And Silverado Kev. I hung out with both of those guys at the Kansas City Chiefs game over at Levi's in the tailgate. We had a ton of fun. RBL Posse, if you're familiar with them, Bay Area rap group, they performed at the tailgate.
I saw them performing.
Yeah, they were at the tailgate. They also performed at the Raiders game too.
Nice.
So yeah, man. Yeah, you hit me hard with that question with that. Okay, this isn't me. This is if I'm the coach. All right. So I got the wide receiver depth chart pulled up.
Okay.
So all right. So I got Brandon Ayuk. I got Debo. I like Jennings. I do like Jennings. I got Sherfield. Now, honestly, this is just me. I'm not a big fan of Sanu. Other people are. I'm just not. So I just like youth. I want. If we're just gonna keep 6, I'd say Hurd and then Simba Webster. I do have a personal bias with Simba Webster. One of my best friends is his cousin, and I knew about Simba way back in high school. And it's not just because my friends related to him and I been rooting for the guy, is because I want an explosive return guy too.
Right.
And he is a pretty fast receiver, and he could be a big play potential. But and we can run him on jet sweeps. Problem is, we haven't really thrown to him in the preseason, so I'm kind of just throwing it out there. I'd like him to be on the team, but maybe, who knows, maybe he gets edged out by Travis Benjamin, because Shanahan does have Travis Benjamin he likes his old guys, and they worked together in the past. So, but that's just me. That's if I pick 6. If I were the coach, that's what I'd do. Yeah. I don't think Shanahan's going to do it, though.
No, I absolutely respect that. Sanu came to the team last year. Obviously, he wasn't at his best peak condition. He didn't really show what he could do, and that's why he was cut after only 3 games. But he's looked pretty good in the offseason, training with Trey. He obviously is a veteran who understands and knows Shanahan's offense back when they were in ATL together with the ATL Falcons. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sanu makes the 53-man active roster. Obviously, you got the IQ show. You got Debo. I think Trent Sherfield, man, I mean, where the hell did he come from? Like, I know he came from the Cardinals.
That's a great signing. That's a steal of our – Yeah, I talked about Brendel, but Sherfield's definitely – I had no idea. I did not see that coming at all.
I didn't see that coming either. And when I looked up Sherfield with the Cardinals, he couldn't really – he wasn't used in the offense. He was more used as a special teams guy. So when the Niners signed him, I was like, okay, he can just, play special teams, because I don't know about you, but last year the special teams kick return, punt return definitely needed work. And I like the addition with Sherfield, and also, of course, Elijah Mitchell, and also Simba Webster, Bay Area kid. So I would say, obviously, that Debo, Sherfield, I would say Sanu, Jennings, and probably Simba Webster. But Shanahan did mention that Travis Benjamin would be one of the main return guys. So you have to assume he's going to be on the team as well, unless we have a surprise tomorrow. But I guess those would be the best 7. And I did not mention Hurd. I don't know if he's done enough, but I had an idea. What if they put Jalen Hurd on, let's say, the PUP list? He'll be out for the first 6 weeks of the regular season. They can evaluate him at the end of the 6 weeks and see where he's at. Because Niner Sickness, first shout out to Niner Sickness. He made a great point. It's not only about what Hurd can do in one game. It's about how does his body recover? How does he recover? This is a marathon season. This isn't just 1 or 2 games. He's got to be able to play in the game and practice. He has to be able to play in the game and practice. And if he can't do that, why would you take away a spot from someone who can? But
and now we got 17 games too. I mean, if they put him on the PUP list, why not? If they feel like that's a proper decision,
Yeah.
We'll see who gets stashed away and who doesn't. And if they do put him on the practice squad, I don't think anybody would pick up Jalen Hurd. Maybe they'd have their doubts, but we'll see what decisions they make. It's going to be definitely a tough decision for John and Kyle to make.
Absolutely, and that's another good idea too. Is maybe stash him on the practice squad. So, but yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what happens tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Montana says next year we are supposed to play in Vegas regular season. Haven't confirmed yet. Yeah, I've heard that, but yeah, I'll be looking forward to that game.
They got a dance club at their stadium or something, or some DJ with a dance club.
I heard about that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure those Vegas tickets are expensive. I mean, it's a brand new stadium. They have to, be attractive to a certain clientele, and I guess they're into that. I mean, I guess Vegas is a huge nightlife city. We know that. So
yeah, it's a party city.
Exactly,
the city that never sleeps.
Some people do that. Exactly.
Maybe the Raiders fans won't sleep after we beat them down again.
I know, right? I'm sure that was a long flight back to Vegas. That's what Fable JVC, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. They say, what's good,
What's up, Fable? How you doing?
What's good, Luke? What's good, Monica? What's good, Varuna? Glad you could be part of the stream. Sam Bell, what's good? Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. I was going to mention this as well. I like that. I need to get a 49er hat similar to that with just the 49ers. I need to add that to my collection.
I wasn't planning on buying it, but I walked into the store at the mall, and I was just like, wow, that looks good. I got to buy it. Boom.
Yeah, because I don't usually see those. Honestly, I don't really see those.
They have a red one as well, but I just think the black one looks so much better.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know Niner Gang podcast, DeAndre, he has the red one. Cool. I met him too at the tailgate over when we played the Kansas City Chiefs. I was going to mention Simba grew up as a 49er fan, so his whole family's pretty much Niner fans except for his dad. His dad's a Raider fan.
And now he gets to, hopefully he can be on the active roster and he would play for the team. That's an amazing story.
Or maybe, worst case scenario, we get him on the practice squad to learn or whatever. That'd be cool.
Right.
Hey, what's up, David Evanson? I see him in the chat. How's it going, man?
What's good? And Fable gives his opinion on who was the best offensive player yesterday. And he says Mitchell had a great game yesterday for sure. I have to mention defensive player. I don't think I mentioned this, but Talanoa Hufanga. I mean, he's just all over the field. I think he's going to be a great special teams player at least the first year, but he could contribute on defensive sets. He started at safety yesterday, and then also the two rookie corners started. So that was pretty cool to see. But John Lynch, the draft class is looking pretty good so far. So hats off to John Lynch. And yeah, what's good? I got to say to Joey Mahoney, I'm going to put your comment up on the screen. Let's see. Where are you at? I got to catch up with these comments as well. Let's see. Bear with me. Yeah, Joey's right here. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Let's see. Local 49ers fan. What's
up,
good?
Local 49ers fan?
Appreciate you joining the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. So we just talked about that was going to be my next question. Predicted wide receivers would make the 53-man active roster. We discussed that. Now, I think going into the offseason, obviously the secondary, there was a lot of concern, in my opinion, for the secondary. I think we needed to add it. We needed to add an influx of youth to the talent room in the secondary, and I think John Lynch did that. We have obviously Jimmy Ward. I think he's one of the most underrated safeties in the league. Tavon Wilson, where the hell did he come from? Like he's been basically the starter opposite of Jimmy Ward in training camp and in preseason. So he looks to be the starter. We got Clinton Dix. I'm glad we picked him up. And also, I'm forgetting one. Oh, of course, how can I forget Jaquiski Tart, who I thought was going to be out for the first 6 games of the year with the Publis. Looks like Bashar will be back shortly. but yeah. So we have
I'm back.
No worries. We have Jimmy Ward, Tavon Wilson, Jaquiski Tart, and of course Talanoa Hufanga. Do the 49ers keep 5 safeties on the roster?
That's a tough one. You're hitting me hard with the tough questions, man. This is going to be even tougher for John and Kyle, though. They're getting paid to do this. So, woo. I like Ha a lot, man. If it were up to me, I'd have him over Tavon. That's what my choice would be. And you gotta love that interception he had yesterday when he had. I don't know if you probably heard the Greg Papa TV call where he was doing the Woody Woodpecker. That oh
Uh,
my gosh, that
that
was
was
so
pretty
funny,
good.
man. I like how because he has that presence. He's a big, tall dude, looking dude, and he look he has a nose for the ball. I love a safety that has a nose for the ball. I mean, we can't recall when any of our safeties had gotten any ints. I can't recall. Back to Talanoa Hufanga. My buddy Will, who's on Real Talk Niner Talk, whenever that his name comes up, he'll start singing the tune of La Bamba and go Talanoa Hufanga. But seriously though, that guy, man, they said they were trying to say that he ran the slow 40, 4.6 40.
Mhm.
This is why I think 40 times are not the end all be all, because when you see him out there, he looks as explosive as any safety I've seen, man. When either he's blitzing or he's making a stop and run play, he looks like he runs a 4.3 when I see him out there. So I mean, and from what I heard about the safeties is, sounds like Tart's probably going to be the starter because just in the past, Ward and Tart were very interchangeable.
Yeah.
They both can do. They're both pretty solid in man coverage. Hufanga wasn't known to be good in man coverage in camp, even though he's been very good in zone or whatever. So we'll see how that plays out. Who knows which safety stay and which goes.
Yeah, I mean, with Tart, I thought he would be out the first 6 weeks. He's got the turf toe injury. There are some former players who were basically forced to retire because of the turf toe injury. Of course, Pat Willis, I think of prime time. But can we really rely on Tart to play 16, 17 games and not have that toe flare up again? So I think we should keep at least 4 safeties, at least. You got Jimmy, Tavon Wilson. I think we should keep Ha. As you mentioned, he just has like a nose for the ball. He's a veteran. I think he went to Alabama. Excellent player there. He was a first-round pick. I'm surprised he was still on the market this late up until the regular season. But I'm glad we have him. And you mentioned Talanoa Hufanga. There's 40 speed. We're just running in a straight line. And then there's just game speed. Like he seems like a playmaker. He's always around the ball carrier, and he's great up on the line of scrimmage. I think he's good at attacking the quarterback, and I'm eager to see how DeMeco Ryans will use him in some defensive sets this year. But that was definitely a need for us this offseason. I think John Lynch did a great job in addressing that area.
Yeah.
The safeties and also the corners as well. I think we're pretty good at corners.
Some football players, I mean, for me, when I played high school, and they tried to make me run the 40, and I was terrible. I ran such a slow 40. And, and I remember my brother was asking my football coach, or our D-line coach, how I was doing, because my brother was worried about my progress. God rest his soul, my brother. But, yeah, and the coach told him to say, you know what, he's slow, but he was talking about me on defense. I was a D tackle. He's slow, but he's always around the ball. He always knows where the ball is. And for me, it's like when I play in the games, I'm hyped up when I was playing, I was hyped up at a level that you could not believe. My adrenaline was through the roof. If you just told me to run a race, that does not pump me up. That does not excite me. Now, not that I was fast or anything, but there's something about putting those pads on and getting way more hyped up, and your body is doing things that you normally do not do. And case in point, some people are just going to run way faster in the games than they are when they run their 40 times.
No,
So I like Hufanga. He's a gamer.
Absolutely. I love Hufanga. I mean, the way he's playing, I'm surprised he was a 5th-round pick. Like, he should have been picked, maybe 2nd or 3rd round, or maybe even a 1st round. But I'm definitely glad he's on the 49ers. And that's something, you can't really calculate is your adrenaline on the field. Obviously, that's going to be – it's hard to practice how you play. It's like when you're in practice, you play at a certain level. But when it's game time, it's hard to replicate those emotions in practice. So when it's game time, you might run faster. You're around the ball a little bit more. But I'm glad to see Hufanga's on the team, and I think he can definitely contribute special teams, and I think he makes the active roster. I think so.
Oh yeah, I think he definitely makes it.
Gotta say, what's good, Silverado Kev? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. He says, "Okay, I see you, Jay. Got my guy Bash on the show. This final 53 finna be nerve grinding. Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. I'm intrigued to see who gets left off the roster and who gets on the practice squad. That's going to be just as intriguing as who makes the roster, because we can't keep everyone. We can only keep 53 guys on the team."
And back to Tart, really quick.
Yeah.
You were mentioning, the popular opinion among 49er fans. They were like, they were done with Tart, and they were talking about the new blood in the safety room that we were having going on, and the ironic thing was all of us thought once we all thought Tart was done with his turf toe, all of a sudden here comes Tart out of nowhere in camp, like, hey, I'm here, guys. So hey, he's here. So we'll see what's up with that and how that plays out, and see if he actually lasts this season.
Yeah, because it just seems like with that turf toe, I don't know if there's a surgery to really correct that issue, or is it just you have to stay off your feet? And obviously, as a football player, you're always going to be on your feet. So hopefully, I'm just going to say this: I'm rooting for Tart. Hopefully, he can stay healthy, but I just won't be surprised if that toe flares up again. But hopefully, I think we'll keep players in positions to be successful if Tart isn't available. So that's what I'm hoping for. I got to say, what's good to
What's
Rams House?
good?
Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Silverado Kev is giving his perspective on the 53-man active roster. He says, I'm looking forward to the defensive line depth we keep actually. Hopefully, both Kerr and Key stay. In my opinion, I think they both stay, especially with, we have our two best edge rushers, D Ford and Nick Bosa. I think they'll be on a snap count for sure. There's no way they're going to play 100% of the snaps the first month of the season. I envision their snap count slowly gets ramped up as the weeks go along in the season. But yeah, I think Key will play a huge role at the defensive end as well as Samson as well. But yeah, I think Kerr and Key will definitely stay. What do you say?
Oh, I like what I saw from Arden Key. Now it's still kind of funny though, because we still haven't seen him get that sack, and that was kind of the knock on him and the Raiders, that he applied pressure, but he would miss or whiff on the sacks. So maybe in the regular season we see him clean up and start getting some QB sacks. He looks like he's getting some pressure. He knows how to beat his man in the pass rush, and I wouldn't be surprised if Maurice Hurst though was an odd man out on the D line, even though they said a lot of good things about him. Just seems like our D tackle is super deep. Sorry, and if there is one guy that has to go, maybe it's him. I don't know. It's gonna be very. I keep saying this over again. It's just gonna be a difficult job for who they keep and who they let go. Especially D line. D line is as stacked as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And good thing about Bosa. Trent Williams said he looks stronger and he's playing stronger and faster and better that he's ever seen. And he played against Bosa in a real game when he was on the Redskins. So that's going to be good to see.
No, absolutely. And Trent would know best because they go, versus each other in every practice. So Trent Williams knows best. And something I was going to say, but I'm going to read this comment first. Monica says, I'm with Bashar, and I know Luke is too. Heard, baby, embrace it, y'all. Hey, I'm rooting for him, but, Shanahan did say, hey, he's one of the 6 best wide receivers. And, I'm hoping he can stay healthy and continue, to progress. That's all I can hope for. KD has a great point about Jimmy Ward. He says we waited for Jimmy Ward for 3 years. And yes, Jimmy Ward did have injuries earlier in his career. So I guess he's saying that's why we should wait for Jalen Hurd. All right. Fable says, I like Hurd too. The guy I think is safe. I like Hurd too. The guy I think is safe. Stash on the practice squad. Oh, okay, Benjamin. Okay. That's interesting perspective there. Silverado Kev says Hurd definitely needs a shot if healthy. That's a big if. But Jennings is a big guy too. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I like Jennings. He's a a big receiver similar to Hurd. I know Jennings was dealing with a heel injury, but I believe he played in yesterday's game. I didn't really see him make many catches. Did you see him make many catches in yesterday's game, Jennings?
I don't remember him making a catch. I know he dropped that catch from Lance right in the end zone. That was right to him. It would have been nice if he caught it, but other than that, though, I like what I've seen in Jennings. He didn't play in the second preseason game, I believe. He played in the first one, though, right? When I was against the Chiefs. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and I remember that. Now my memory is there. So yeah, Jennings missed that catch in the end zone because he tried to catch the ball like this instead of catching with his hands. And that's exactly what he did on that next drive when Trey threw a ball.
And he got really nice. He did get a nice catch. I remember. He did get one. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I like Jennings.
He probably listened to you.
He heard me through the TV. Exactly.
Yeah.
Catch it with your hands, man. You can't catch, especially with Trey throwing rockets. You can't catch it like that. But I like Jennings and what he brings to the offense for sure. Let's see. Joshua Brown, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, man. He represents the JB and M Sports Fanatic YouTube channel.
Okay, what's up, JB and M Sports Fanatic? Check you guys out.
And we have to talk about the 49ers 2-quarterback system. What are your initial thoughts on it? Do you think it can succeed? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Let me know.
I wouldn't say I hate it, but it was. I mean, if anybody's gonna watch that game and say it wasn't weird, I think they're lying to me. Because I'm watching it, and when they set us up for it. They told the media that, hey, you're probably gonna see, even though Jimmy G's gonna be the starter, expect to see Lance in games on certain drives. So they set us up for it, and they planted the seed in our head, but. When you're watching the game, it's like the WWF tag team action, man. They tag one guy in, tag every other play. It's like, what are they? How can you develop a rhythm when you do that? I don't know. It worked. It worked. The running game, whatever we had going on with the Raiders, was dominant, and it didn't matter what quarterback you threw out there. Maybe they could have put me at quarterback and handed the ball off a few times, and we would have scored, a touchdown or a field goal, whatever. But it looked weird, we'll see what happens in the regular season, how they do it. So that's all I got to say about that.
You brought up a great point about rhythm, and that was something I wanted to see from Jimmy G. Jimmy G had only played 2 series in the preseason, and I'm like, well, how are we supposed to have an accurate and fair evaluation of the 2 quarterbacks if Trey's getting 50 plus snaps and Jimmy's getting like half? So. It wasn't really fair, but it was good to see Jimmy in there. And he's got to have a rhythm. You can't just jump into something. You got to warm up. You got to warm up to it. You got to have good rhythm. And I think Jimmy was able to do that. And like I said before, I wanted to see Jimmy get a touchdown drive, and he did that. I think I don't. Trey needs snaps in regular season games. I think we can all agree on that, right? But I just hope that Jimmy gets the bulk. I think we're good with Jimmy. If he gets 90-95% of the snaps, I think I'm good with that. As long as Jimmy is playing well, obviously he stays healthy and he's not turning over the ball. And if Jimmy's playing well, I think this offense will play well, and also I think we will win games. And I think the main issue about the 2-quarterback system that Shanahan wants to do is, how can Jimmy establish a rhythm if he's constantly getting taken out of the game? So that's the major downside to that, and I agree with you about the rhythm.
The plus side is, as wacky as it looks, and with you're taking out the whole rhythm factor, is it will probably give a defensive coordinator fits, because they have no idea who to prepare for, before the game and during the game. So
no, that's a great point, and there's no doubt when Trey Lance is in, you don't know if he's going to hand it off to the back. You don't know if he's going to keep it and run outside the pocket. So it's definitely, from a fan perspective, it's definitely exciting to see. And it seems like it's kind of spur of the moment when Trey comes in for Jimmy. It doesn't seem like it's necessarily planned. Like, I don't know about you, but on the 3rd and goal at the goal line, I was surprised Jimmy went in the game. I was surprised by that, but it ended up working out. Were you surprised that Jimmy was brought in?
You mean on the play where he ran it in, when Jimmy ran
exactly.
it in? Exactly. Yeah. Again, every time they kept swapping back and forth, it just I was like, okay, all right, what's going on here?
I feel the same way, but it worked out. So. Fable says, I don't want to lose Jennings. I can see how driven he is to play well. His head is in the right place. For me, if it came down to Jennings and Hurd, who are you picking?
Man, man, you got it. Oh, it was, and people got to remember, Jennings was even. I don't know, was Jennings was hurt the whole year last year too, or
right? He was.
Yeah, so Oh man, I still gotta go with my boy Hurd, man. I'm sorry,
You still
guys.
going with her?
I'm still going with Hurd. I'm loyal to the guy, man.
I can tell. Yeah, if it was me, I would probably go with Jennings. I think he's shown a little bit more consistency. And I'm not hating on Hurd. I'm just, he's got to be able to play the game consistently and consistently well. And I know Jennings hasn't really done that either, at least not in the regular season. But at least I see a little bit more from Jennings. But hopefully, we can keep both. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow.
We'll see.
Luke says Travis, I think you're talking about Travis Benjamin, has different speed and can do the returns, but I also think Jennings can be stashed because people don't look for his skill set like we do. They usually go speed and separation. I would agree with that, especially with Travis Benjamin doing the returns. He took the year off last year due to COVID. We really haven't seen him in like 2 years, but I think Benjamin he looked solid in the return game. And I hope Jennings makes the 53-man active roster and not the practice squad. Hopefully, we can see him on Sundays in the regular season. David Edmondson, what's good? Appreciate you tuning into the stream. Hopefully,
From
your
Real
Monday
Talk
night
Niner
is going
Talk.
well. He says we will take over Vegas just like we do every other stadium. Absolutely.
Yes, we will. There'll be a sea of red in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Now, we have to talk about the division. I feel the NFC West is one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. I think every team could make a case that they could possibly win the division. I think Arizona's case is a little bit less than the other three teams, but Arizona's no slouch. They're a pretty good team. So based on the division we play in, who do you think is the toughest opponent for the 49ers in division?
You know what? There's something I'm a little torn because, and a lot of people are saying Seattle is going to suck, but for some reason they're just always that thorn in our side, especially with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf. But if it's not going to be Seattle, I'd say maybe the Rams because they got Stafford. But if I were to put money, I'd say Seattle. Just there's that X factor with Seattle. And that annoying crowd of theirs and all that other stuff. They were 12-4 last year, so without the crowd noise, they were 12-4. So you got to give it to them in that. As much as I hate Seattle, I still think they're the guys to beat.
No, absolutely. I've asked this question to at least 5 to 7 other people, and most of the people say Seattle. I think a case could be made that the LA Rams are the most complete team. I think you can make the case, offensively and defensively, they could be the most complete team, but there's no question Seattle has the best quarterback in the division. I think Russell is probably a top 3 quarterback period in the NFL. And they're never out of a game with Russell Wilson. He can always get his team back. They have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Their issue really has been when Chris Carson gets hurt, the running game kind of isn't as potent as it is with Carson in the lineup. Also, the offensive line, which they did add Gabe Jackson, former Las Vegas Raider, and also the defense. The defense has kind of been an issue with Seattle. They haven't really been able to get a great pass rush. But, they have Carlos Dunlap coming back. They stole our guy, Kerry Hyder. They got Akello Witherspoon. We'll see how he plays in a different city. And then, of course, they have, they still got Bobby Wags. And then they also have Jamal Adams.
Yep.
Man, he's not great in coverage. I think we all agree on that, but he is a difference maker when he's on the field. He can definitely get after the quarterback, and he presents problems when he's on the field. As simple as that. And he was just signed to a long-term extension contract, so obviously good for him and good for the Seahawks.
Speaking of safeties that don't get interceptions, it doesn't just happen on the Niners. They made this meme about Jamal Adams where I know who were the D linemen? They had a picture of like 3 defensive linemen, and they're like, oh, all these guys have more career interceptions than Jamal Adams. Wow. One of them was that one dude that used to play on that Will Fork. One of them was Will Fork. I know that.
Will Fork had more interceptions?
Yeah, well, wow. He has more career interceptions than Jamal Adams.
Wow. Well, yeah, he's not great in coverage, but the way they use him, he has no problem with hitting people, which is always a good trait.
Exceptional blitzer.
Exceptional blitzer, yeah. And you could tell the difference when he was on the field versus when he wasn't. Seattle's defense just wasn't the same.
Hey, and they can have Akella all they want, man. Well, hopefully we can take advantage of that.
That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Akella Witherspoon and also with Kerry Hyder, because I would imagine what Kerry Hyder is going to be probably going up against Trent Williams. So that'll be an intriguing matchup for sure.
Isn't it funny how when we lost Kerry Hyder, some people were worried about that, and now after seeing how deep our D line and our ends are, that nobody's even mentioning him. Like a lot of people don't even mention as far as our pass rush goes, like. We got Sosa, Samson Ibukam. I don't think we've ever had a guy coming off the bench who's going to be utilized the way he is. The Rams, I think they were using him the wrong way. They never used him as a rusher, and we have him topped by Kasurik, and now he's an outside rusher, and he looks like he's going to be really productive for us. So I can't wait to see that.
Exactly. If Samson could have maybe at least 8 to 10 sacks, I think that'll bode well.
Oh, that'll be a gold mine. That'll be good.
Sure. I mean, with Kerry Hyder, I was concerned because he led the team in sacks last year. I don't necessarily agree with giving him a multi-year contract extension though.
Good thing we did.
Seattle did. But I was willing to a 1-year deal, for Kerry Hyder. But I'm glad that Kerry got his money. He got the long-term extension, and I'm also glad with the job that John Lynch has done in adding talent to the defensive line. That's for sure. I gotta say, what's good to David Yang. Thanks for tuning
in. David Yin Yang twins. I know him from the Hawkhater TV. Really cool guy. A really loyal caller on Hawkhater TV when he was doing his call-in show. I don't know. He's taking a hiatus for whatever reason.
Will he be going back to making?
I don't know. I've known Hawkhater since the days of Candlestick, since 2009. I had a 49er Tone on the show who has season tickets with the Hawkhater, so I didn't hear anything that he's going to be coming back. Maybe when the season kicks off, he'll get that itch to come back on again. That'd be nice. We miss him out there. Yeah, everybody, I get all these fans asking me about him all the time.
Yeah, hopefully, Hawkhater TV, hopefully he's doing well, and, hopefully he, goes back to making content, because it definitely seems like that's his passion. I've never met him, never talked to him, but I've seen his videos, and he's definitely a passionate 49er fan. And, I just hope, he's doing well. So
yeah. Without a doubt, we'd like to see him back.
Absolutely. David says, safety is covered, but corners outside of Verrett worry me. Are you worried outside of Verrett for our corners?
I love the fact that Diamador Lenore, or Demo, as I like to say, not Debo, but Demo.
Yeah, that's easier.
is looking productive and looking good for a rookie so far in the preseason. Preseason just ended, obviously, but hopefully he carries it off to the regular season. Ambry Thomas is a bit slower in his development. Now, to his credit, he missed a year of football, so even though he was drafted higher than Demo, we should kind of temper his expectations for this year. Maybe 5th or 6th game, cross my fingers, maybe Ambry Thomas puts it together and gets back up to speed, because we need all the depth we can get. And we got Verrett and Mosley. Mosley's one of those ticky-tacky guys who always gets hurt too, so we don't want to be stuck out there with rookies, defending as far as our 1 and 2 corners. So, yeah, sure. Hopefully our corners are productive, and it will help. I'm more of a guy, though. This is my philosophy when it comes to building a defense and building football, building a football team. I start in the trenches. If we got that ferocious, consistent, amazing pass rush, which we should have, forward, Bosa, Samson, Arden Key, and the guys in the middle, I almost think that you can put average to a little bit better than average corners out there and still be fine. Some people say, oh, no, you need the best cornerbacks in the league. That's what I would start with, but there's different philosophies. So hopefully, we'll be good at corner. We'll see.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. And I think John Lynch and Shanahan, believe that as well, that you build within the trenches first. You look at our draft picks, Armstead, Buckner, Kinlaw, Bosa, even Solomon Thomas, those are all picks in the trenches. And I agree with you. If the defensive line is, getting to the quarterback, it makes the secondary's job easier. There's no doubt about that. As far as the corners, of course, I like Verrett. Hopefully he can have a Pro Bowl season again this year. And obviously, if he has a Pro Bowl season, he'll be healthy. Mosley, he's got that hamstring injuries. And we know with those hamstring injuries, they just seem to linger. It just seems like they never really go away, and Hopefully he can stay healthy. K'Wan Williams, I don't think we've seen in the preseason.
We didn't see him in the preseason. I don't recall seeing him.
But he's
I
another
almost
guy.
forgot about him.
Yeah, and he's another guy who, when he's healthy, he's one of the best, slot cover corners in the NFL. And I'm assuming we haven't seen him in the preseason because he's just being held out for precautionary reasons because they want him healthy for the season. And then, of course, we got the two rookies, Thomas and Lenore. I think Lenore has definitely looked a little bit better than Thomas, and I think some rookies would just pick up either the playbook or they just seem like they belong faster than some. For instance, Aaron Brooks. I think I'm blanking on his name. The right guard we drafted,
Aaron Banks.
There we go.
Yeah, we only saw him once.
Yeah. Aaron Banks, Bay Area kid. We drafted him high in the second round. Everyone thought that he would just come in and he would just have that right guard position, but it doesn't always work that way. Brunskill, he's a veteran. He's played along a lot of offensive line positions under Shanahan. And he's like, ain't nobody gonna take my job. You're gonna have to, beat me to take my job. And with Banks, he suffered the shoulder injury, I believe, in the first preseason game. I believe.
True. First game.
The second
KC.
one
Against KC.
Yeah.
Against KC.
Yeah. So that's a setback. He's got the shoulder injury. Hopefully, he'll be ready for week 1. But there's no doubt he's going to make the team. He's a second-round pick. But this will give him time to develop, get more comfortable in the system. And there's a huge difference between college and the pros, and I think that's what we're seeing. But I'm sure this will make him better.
Yeah, I'm not a big offensive line guy, so I'd love to see Aaron Banks develop. I was hyped up when we picked him, and hopefully he pans out. I'd hate to see that pick go wrong. So
yeah, and exactly. But the work is put in now in practice, obviously in training camp, watching film, and I think he will continue to get better. And I gotta say, what's good to Big Play Slay? Thanks for tuning in.
Big Play Slay.
Fable says the new 17-game schedule should be accompanied with a 56-man roster at least. I totally agree with that. I don't know what the NFL Players Union is doing.
They're so stupid sometimes, man.
You agree to another game, you gotta put more players on the active roster. I mean that
exactly
what they're doing there. Shout out to let's see, Corey Davis with the $5 super chat. I appreciate that, KD. He says, how do you guys feel about quarterbacks going in and out? We did talk about that earlier, but I think it could disrupt the rhythm of, let's say, Jimmy G at quarterback if he's always coming in and coming out. And Bashar felt the same way. But we did agree that it is exciting to see Trey Lance in there because it can definitely confuse the defense. Will Trey Lance hand it off to the running back? Will he keep it and run? But I think that's how we feel. Did you want to add anything to that, Bashar?
Not too much. I said it pretty much covered earlier, but
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out. If anything, maybe Kyle is just going to be this genius out there and just give defensive coordinators fits with it, as weird and wacky as it looks. So who knows?
Yeah. But I appreciate that $5 super chat, KD, and thanks for tuning in to the stream. Do you have the schedule in front of you? The 49ers schedule?
I'm going to pull it up in just a second.
Okay,
I had the roster in front of me, so
okay.
Just a second. I know, yeah, you had some schedule predictions for me.
Yeah, and Fable says, I can't believe Tart played so much yesterday. Yeah, because I believe he started and then it looked like he was limping or something. He came out of the game, but then he came back in. So, and Fable says he could have rested him the 3 extra weeks. I don't know about that. I think Tart came back because he knew that Tavon Wilson was there.
Yeah, he's got people on his tail, man.
He's like, I need to get on the field if I want to be a part of this Niner team this year.
Yeah. I've never had a turf toe before in my, when I played football in high school, and I have no idea how a turf toe feels, but I used to think a turf toe was just like an injury you get over in a week or so, but, after the whole Patrick Willis thing, it's like, okay, wait, whoa, maybe a turf toe injury is really, really serious. So, Tart had one, and I was thinking, okay, great, I think he's gone for the season, or maybe he's going to miss half the season, and then next thing you know, he shows up, so That's kind of odd. Yeah. So we got I got the schedule pulled up now. What
Okay.
was your question
Yeah, I was
exactly?
going to ask you, what do you think is the toughest non-division game on the schedule this year for the 49ers?
Toughest non-division game. Let's see. I'm looking. This is a tough one, man. Let's see here. It looks like they kind of gave us a favorable schedule in comparison to other years. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'd say the Titans game. With that, yeah, I'm saying I'm gonna stick with the Titans, and
Yeah.
it's a road game too. Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
And that game is 2 days before Christmas. It's a Thursday night
Okay.
game. Got to fly to Tennessee. That's definitely one of the toughest games on the schedule. I think Green Bay, you can't really count on
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers unless you have a 14-0 lead. Because he don't, I don't know about you, but he don't like to play behind. I
he
noticed with
doesn't.
Aaron Rodgers, his morale goes down if he's down 14-0. Because we've seen that when we're able to run the ball down the Packers' throat, it just doesn't seem like Rodgers has it in him to bring his team back. That's just what I've noticed. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and we all know
definitely.
how Aaron Rodgers reacts to our pass rush. If our pass rush is up,
Yeah,
our pass rush is going on, then we have a strong chance of winning. So it's all about those guys getting to the QB.
absolutely. Let's see. We have a bold prediction from Joey. He says Hurd makes the team and gets 600 yards. Wow.
He's going on a limb there.
He definitely is. He is going out on a limb there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And now that we are talking about the schedule, predict the 49ers regular season record. How many wins, how many losses?
I've been saying this without looking at the schedule. It's just how I see this team and the direction they're going. We missed the playoffs last year. We were really really banged up, but we still need to learn how to win games again. And I see us going 10-7. That's what I see. I just see certain games. On paper we could say, "Oh wow, we could beat that team. We could beat that team," but then for whatever reason, a trap game will come up or things will go wrong, and so I say 10-7.
10-7. All right. And I had the Niners going 12-5 on the high end. I think on the low end, maybe 11 games, because there's always going to be a game on the schedule that, we should have won, but we didn't because we just didn't show up. There's always going to be at least one game on the schedule like that. I know I think we play like the Texans and Jags, I believe. Like, obviously, those are easy wins. I think Detroit week 1 is an easy win, but you never know. And that's why they call it, any given Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And let's see if there's any other comments in here specifically for Bashar, or let's see. Jay is giving us his prediction. He's got the Niners going 13-4. Fable has the Niners going 12-5. And let's see. Looks like Noon. What's good? Appreciate you
What's
joining the stream.
good?
He says Titans as the Niners' toughest non-division game, and I would agree with that. And let's see. Shout out to Channel 49. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, "What's up, fellas? How are we feeling about week 1 versus Detroit? Score predictions. You want to go first?"
I just want to say what's up to Channel 49, a good buddy of mine on Instagram.
Nice.
He advertised this show today on his story on IG.
Nice.
Really, really good supporter
Appreciate
of
you.
the. Yeah, man. He said, "What's up, fellas? How we feeling about Week 1 versus Detroit? Score predictions. Score predictions. I'll say, I don't know, 30-15.
30-15. Okay. I would say 27-13. I would say 27-13. I don't think Jared Goff and the Lions will be able to move the ball. And I think the Niners have definitely Jared Goff's number, that's for sure. And I don't know. I know they have Hawkinson, the tight end. Obviously, I need to do a little bit more research on their roster offensively, but I don't know. No one comes to mind that will scare the defense. An interesting matchup will be the tackle they drafted, Penei Sewell. Him going up against, I think he's left tackle, so he'll be going up probably against maybe D Ford, maybe Samson,
Or maybe Bosa.
Armstead, maybe Bosa. Yeah, so
Bosa
that'll be an
Reservoir
interesting
outside.
matchup because he was one of the best offensive linemen to come out of the draft, and now he's got an excellent test going up against one of the best defensive fronts.
And from what I heard as of late is that he didn't have a strong preseason. He's
Mm,
been showing some early struggles now. If it carries on to week one, hey, good for us.
that'd be
But we'll
good for
see.
us, exactly.
Yeah.
And Joey says Jimmy looked horrible this preseason. What? What you mean, Joey? Well, I mean, and that's what we talk about. Jimmy hasn't played since what October of last year, and he's had a lot of time off. That's why I wanted to see Jimmy give him 3 to 4 series in a preseason game. Let him warm up. Let him get his feet wet. This isn't Tom Brady. This isn't Aaron Rodgers where, hey, they might not need to practice. They might not need to play in preseason games. Well, hell, Tom Brady played multiple series in preseason. Pat Mahomes played multiple series. So why not Jimmy? And also, Joey says if Jimmy gets 90 to 95% of the snaps, I will puke. Oh, man, that's pretty good. I think if he gets that amount of snaps, I think that would say if he gets 90% of snaps for a 17 game season, that would say that obviously he's healthy. He's playing well enough to keep the starting job. Uh, he's not turning over the ball. And that means if he does all those things, the Niners are winning games. So who doesn't want that? What would you say to that, Bashar?
About Jimmy getting the snaps in
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I
would that make you puke?
it wouldn't make me puke. No, it wouldn't make me puke. I'll be honest. If you watch, you know me. You watch my channel.
Yeah.
I was really, really hyped up about Trey Lance taking over and being the quarterback. But I'm also realistic. I just see. I do see. Obviously, if you wanted to, sure, you can make Trey Lance the starter week one if you really, really wanted to. But I just think Trey might have to slow down a little bit and and for me, I am some may see it as a tie right now between Jimmy and Trey if they were going to make it a competition, and some may see Trey behind Jimmy in certain facets, just with the short reads and the quick reads and all that. And from what I was hearing, that in order for Trey Lance to be named the starter immediately and really really be the starting quarterback, he'd have to show that by quite a significant margin that hey, he's the better quarterback. And as much as everybody out there loves Trey Lance and wants him to be the quarterback, I don't think we can necessarily say that right now at this stage of his career that he has proven that he's significantly 100% way better than Jimmy G at this point. He still has some things that he needs to work on with timing, with reading certain coverages. And I'm saying this because I've watched some film breakdowns by non-49er YouTubers even just yesterday and the day before. So I do see those things as well. But eventually, in my opinion, when Trey Lance puts it together and grabs the bull by the horns and says, look, man, I'm the best quarterback here, or his play dictates that, and he's easily the best player in the field, the coach is always going to put the best players out there. So, his time will come. I don't like rushing things really with certain players, and it'll play out. It'll play out, man. I think at the end of the day, all 49er fans will unite, and we'll all be happy about who's out there, and we're going to be winning a lot of games. I see a bright future for this team, not just this year, but next year and the next coming years. So,
Absolutely, you said it best. This franchise is in great hands. We have a bright future, and I don't want to start a rookie quarterback on the road for the first 2 weeks of the season when I can rely on a veteran who's played multiple games in the regular season, who's played in the playoffs, who's played in a Super Bowl. I think it would be different if Jimmy wasn't on the team. If we cut Jimmy in February and we drafted Trey and there weren't expectations of us making it to the playoffs, possibly getting to the Super Bowl, hey, go ahead and put Trey in, let him get his lumps. And if we were a franchise like Jacksonville or the Jets, there's no high expectations. They have a high draft pick at quarterback. Go ahead, throw them in because there's no one ahead of them who's had a lot of success in the NFL. If we were in that situation, then yeah, I would say let's go with Trey. But we're not. We're in a totally different situation, and I'm definitely fine if Jimmy plays majority of the snaps this season. I gotta say, what's good to Jamie? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. And Of course, you've been watching Jay in the Bay and Bashar of 49er Minded. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream. Make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to each one of our channels if you haven't already. It's been a pleasure to have you on my show, and I appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform weeks ago. And I can't wait to collab with you in the future during the regular season where we can talk about the regular season games, the games that actually count on that record. But the floor is now yours. What can people expect from your channel? And let the people know. The floor is yours.
Okay, first things first, if you've never seen my channel before, hit that subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber to my channel, hit the notification button too, because I don't have set dates and times of the week that I'm going to be going, mainly because it's a guest driven show. When my guests tell me they can come on and be on my show, that's when we're going to go on. So the times do vary, and once you hit that bell, you get the notification on your phone or on your laptop, and it will say, hey, I'm going to be going live within the next few hours or tomorrow at this time. Again, though, if you have gone to my channel and you do go to my channel, you've never been on it before, and you're a big Jay in the Bay fan, go on the video with me and Jay in the Bay. Obviously, it's a little dated because it was just a couple weeks ago, but I ask certain personal fandom questions that are always entertaining, and I just think it was an entertaining show and it was a lot of fun to have him on there. And I'm really happy you've put me on here. As far as who I'm going to have on in the future, tomorrow I'm going to have his name is Jesse Naylor from Last Second Sports. You guys may know him if you're familiar with the Cone Phone. He collabs with Grant Cohn a lot. He also collabs with Jack Hammer on the Jack Hammer Show. They have the Hammer and Nails Show with Jesse Naylor. So Jesse Naylor is really good. He writes for Sports Illustrated, all us of 49ers, and I'm gonna have expect bigger names to come on my channel too pretty soon. So you can definitely expect that.
Absolutely. And make sure you guys check out 49er Minded. All his social media links will be in the description of this video. Make sure you guys check him out. But brother, it has been a pleasure. I can't wait to do this again. And thanks for coming on to Jay in the Bay. And you have a great rest of your Monday night, man, and a productive work week.
Yeah, much appreciated, man. It's been a lot of fun. Shout out to everybody in the chat who I enjoyed seeing in the chat with their comments and questions, and some familiar faces, some new faces. A lot of fun in being on your channel, and hopefully during the season you can come on my channel. We can talk about the real games and vice versa, man. Take care, guys. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll definitely do that. And thanks for coming on, man. Take care. All right. All right. So that was Bashar of 49er Minded. Great guest. I can't wait till we collab again. And also make sure you guys show him some love. Check out his social media links. They are in the description. He's got the IG. He's got Twitter. He's got YouTube. So check him out. And that will be an interesting interview tomorrow. And make sure, hey, you guys check it out. Talking about the Niner Empire. Always exciting. But let's continue on with these comments. So let's see. We got Fable. He says, it's really confusing at Luke Luna. I hate to say it, but I hope they played Tart because he was on the bubble and not because they are being incompetent with his health. I would say that's exactly the reason they played him, because I think Tart knew, hey, my roster spot is not guaranteed. I need to play, and hopefully he can be healthy. But that toe injury, the turf toe, that's just a weird injury. And initially he was diagnosed with missing the first 6 weeks of the regular season. So I was surprised, as I'm sure a lot of people were, that he played in the preseason. And let's see how that toe feels the next few days when the Niners have practice. Luke Luna. Well, Jennings isn't going to blow the top off the defense, and Sanu runs cleaner routes and is quicker, has good hands. But Jennings is a lot younger than Sanu. That is one thing that's on his side. He says, Ayuk, Debo, Sanu, Sherfield, Hurd, Benjamin. I think Webster hasn't done much as a wide receiver. That's true. And Benjamin can return kicks. Maybe, and also Elijah Mitchell could possibly return kicks and punts as well. So that could be, that could be a reason why Webster doesn't make the roster. But we'll see, because the Niners have a lot of tough decisions on their hands. I'm not going to lie. I would not want to be in their position, because you can't keep everyone, obviously. So it'd be interesting to see how that 53-man roster shapes out tomorrow. Jamie says Hurd had 3 years to learn the playbook, but he's out there running into his teammates, and he had to be lined up off the ball by teammates to avoid a flag. I question his initiative and commitment. Pettis vibe. Wow. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think he has a Pettis vibe, but I would say that, he's rusty. He literally hasn't played against opposing competition in 2 years. I wasn't excited about his performance. I wasn't disappointed. I just thought it was good just to see him on the field participating and being a part of the offense, because it's been 2 years we hadn't seen that. So I think it was a step in the right direction for her to get on the field, and let's see if it was enough for Shanahan, because he's going to have that final decision. Jamie feels that Jennings and Benjamin are on the team. Okay. And Jamie feels that Speed and Dog, represent Jennings and Benjamin. Luke says we have plenty of dogs on this team. Hurd has bigger upside than just a dog mentality. Jennings pretty much has to play that way. Love Jennings. I was singing his praises last year. Yeah, I really like Jennings. And hopefully he makes the 53-man active roster. Jamie says they had their QB and wide receiver and tight end. We didn't. Okay. And Jamie says Seattle is not scary. Wow. Well, Russell Wilson, he is definitely a problem. Fable says, I guess for me, I weigh the option of what hurts more, to move on from a 7th or a 3rd round pick. In a perfect world, we keep both. Hurd has better talent. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is we really haven't seen either one outside of the preseason. And it'll be interesting to see if it comes down to, well, do we stick with Hurd or do we stick with Jennings? If it was my decision, I would stick with Jennings. But, because you could always put Hurd on the practice squad. You could put him on the PUP list and evaluate him, at a later date. Luke says, just think Hurd gives us what Jennings can and more. This was his 2nd game played with us, played the Cowboys. One thing, this kid will get better the more he's on the field. I agree with you, but can he stay on the field? He's had trouble obviously doing that. So that's going to be a big hurdle for Hurd. Can he stay on the field? Can he continue to practice every day? Because he did have a setback in training camp. So Hurd has got to prove it for me. Fable says Seattle got fleeced on signing Hyder. I mean, I know on paper it was a multi-year contract extension, but I believe it's really a 1-year deal. And if Seattle decides to move off of him next year, it's a minimal cap hit. It's probably less than $2 million. So looks good on paper as a multi-year contract extension, but I think Hyder should play well. He had a hell of a season, and for Seattle's sake, hopefully he can replicate that season he had with the 49ers. Fable says Hurd is that big body receiver that could win jump balls. You're absolutely right. Luke says Jennings will come off the practice squad and replace Hurd for good if Hurd gets injured this year. Okay. Fable says a lot of Hyder sacks came from coverage being so good. I would agree with that. But Hyder definitely made the most out of his opportunity. That's for sure. You can't deny that. Jamie agrees with that. Late sack Hyder. Let's see. You have a wonderful night as well, young hitter. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Fable says it will be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun to watch the pass rush getting home in a flash again, like 2019 with Verrett taking away his half of the field. Absolutely. And, as long as Verrett stays healthy and the pass rush is consistent, I think our secondary will be just fine, I think. Let's see. Looks like Jamie is not a big fan of Maiden, the safety. He says he's soft that had run last year at nickel. Hope he plays before Thomas. Oh, so you're saying Maiden is safety that had run last year at nickel. Hope he plays before Thomas. Interesting. I didn't think Maiden would play the nickel corner slot. That's interesting. I don't even know if he'll make the squad, but I guess we'll see. But looks like Luke agrees with Fable on Verrett taking away half of his field. Absolutely. Fable says, I'd like to upgrade the offensive line coach. Not very impressed with the guy we brought in from Miami so far. That's interesting. I mean, I think people would obviously say that Brunskill, struggled a little bit on the offensive line, but I believe in Brunskill. I think he's a solid, average to above average right guard. I think he's clearly the best right guard on the team right now, and we're just going to have to, ride with that. Aaron Banks did not set the world on fire like a lot of people thought he would. And I'm comfortable riding with Brunskill at this point. I mean, unless there's another right guard who's better than Brunskill on the street, I would be surprised by that. Let's see. Luke says, we aren't as in trouble at corner as it once felt, and definitely not at safety. It's not great depth at corner, but we should be good with this front seven getting after it. Absolutely. And, hopefully the rookie corners do get some reps in the regular season, because next year, they could potentially be our starters. Mosley, he's on a 2-year deal, but Verrett and K'Wan Williams are on 1-year deal. So there's no telling if they'll be on the team, next year. And I like our depth at corner. I think we'll be solid. Now, obviously, if Verrett or Mosley miss significant time, that could be a problem for sure. Let's see. Luke says, get your bucket. Luke says, get your bucket then, homie. Jimmy looked good this last game, and he had 1 series in the 2 games prior. That's correct. And he's referring to, I think, Joey, who said if he sees Jimmy G play 90 to 95% of the snaps, then he's going to puke. If Jimmy plays that much, I think the team is winning. And to Luke's point, Jimmy he needs reps. He's not just like, I'm sure anyone who does anything, the more you do it, the more you're successful at it, the more you're consistent at it, you're probably better. And Jimmy needs more reps. That's why I was kind of surprised and disappointed he didn't get, as many reps in the preseason. So that was disappointing. But as Luke mentioned, he looked good yesterday. Corey Davis is giving his regular season prediction, which is 12-5. Caden Jenkins, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, KJ. Hopefully your night is going well. Let's see. Local 49ers fan says 11-5-1, because you never can count out a tie. All right. Well, this is the first prediction from a fan who's predicted the Niners will have a tie. So that's interesting. Fable gets his prediction on the Niners and Lions game. He's got the Niners winning 24-10. All right. Fable says Penei Sewell is listed as a right tackle. Ford is usually over the right tackle. Okay, that's interesting. Honestly, any position that Sewell lines up at either tackle, whether it's left or right, he's definitely going to get his welcome to the NFL moment, regardless if it's Samson, Armstead, Ford, Bosa. It's going to be – I think it's going to be a long day for Sewell, that's for sure. Fable says, I can't lie that Lance's finger is a huge concern. It sounds like a fracture. If so, that's a month to 6 weeks recovery. What else would a chipped finger be? That's an interesting perspective because, Shanahan has said, hey, it's just 7 days. All is well after 7 days. But we really won't know until that 7-day period ends and Lance will be reevaluated. And we'll see how that finger is. But if it was a fracture, I mean, they would know, right? They would know that he's seen a doctor. They would have ruled, hey, is it fractured? Is it torn? Whatever. But I hope that's not the case. Month to 6 weeks. I hope that's not the case. And hopefully, yeah, it's just a 7-week recovery. But we'll have a better idea next Monday. Rams House says NFL season right around the corner. Absolutely. Looking forward to the games. I'm especially excited for that Thursday night game. I think that's, what is that, the Cowboys and the Bucks, I believe. That's going to be an exciting game. I think the Bucks will beat the brakes off them good old Cowboys. But definitely excited for some real regular season football. Looks like Fable showing love to Bashar. Says, I found you and just subscribed on Bashar YouTube channel. So that's I appreciate you supporting Bashar. Absolutely, man. Livy's World. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Livy's World. Thank you for your continued support. Livy's World says, what's good? Great stream. Fable says, peace, good show. I appreciate you joining. Thank you for the kind words and contributing to the stream tonight. Let's see. Young Hitter says, great stream, Jay in the Bay. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jay says, great stream. Have a good one. Oh, you changed your avatar. All right. That's a nice avatar. It looks like you just added on to the avatar. I like that, man. Fable says, Maiden and Ward are capable corners in a pinch. Yeah, they have used Ward kind of in that nickel slot. They I should say they used to use him there. But I think he's great at safety. But we have a lot of depth in that area, so maybe Ward would, play that role. Let's see. Club Utopia. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Utopia. He says the Miami Dolphins are number one. All right. Hey, that's your perspective. I respect it. KD has the 49ers winning week 1. 49ers 31, Detroit Lions 13. Yeah, I just don't see how the Lions are going to score multiple touchdowns. I just don't see it. I know they got Hawkinson, the tight end, and I think we'll be good with with either Fred Warner or Greenlaw covering him, or maybe even K'Wan Williams at times, or maybe even a safety. I think he will be their best playmaker, but I think we should be able to neutralize him. Shout out to Luke Luna, that $2 super chat. I appreciate that, brother. He says, have a good night. You do the same, Luke. I appreciate your contributions to the stream, and I will see you on the next live stream. So tomorrow, Faithful is, of course, the 53-man active roster. I'm intrigued to see who will be left off the roster, who will be put on the practice squad, and, of course, who makes the roster. Some questions I have. Will the 49ers keep more than 2 quarterbacks? How many defensive linemen will the 49ers, have on the active roster? Who will be the safeties on the active roster after Jimmy Ward? Because after Jimmy Ward, it's kind of up for grabs at this point, and that'll be interesting to see. Of course, who makes the team at wide receiver? That's probably the biggest question mark right now. Who's going to make it at wide receiver? And that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully, I can do a stream tomorrow, but if I do, it'll probably be really late, probably past 10. So I guess we'll see what happens. Fable says, have a good night, Jay. Have a good night, everyone. You do the same, Fable. And I just got to give a shout out to everyone that was in the chat today conversing with me and Bashar, who represents 49er Minded. Make sure you check out 49er Minded. His social media links are in the description. Check him out. And, of course, shout out to everyone who conversed with me and Bashar in the stream. Big shout out to Luke. Let's see, Corey Davis. And I think there was one more. I think Blue True as well. So I appreciate all you guys' contributions to the Jay in the Bay YouTube channel. And shout out to everyone who's watching on Jay in the Bay Facebook, Jay in the Bay YouTube, the Spotlight Sports Network YouTube, and their Facebook page. I appreciate all the support. Hopefully I can do a stream tomorrow night. We'll see. It'll be really late. I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. But if you guys see the thumbnail, then it's definitely means we're going to talk about the depth chart for sure. And yeah, hopefully I can bring that to you guys tomorrow. Other than that, I will be doing a stream Thursday night, but it'll be on someone else's channel. I can definitely put that information up at a later date. And yeah, I mean, what we're looking forward to now is the 49ers depth chart. Obviously, the status of Trey Lance after 7 days pass. We'll see how that finger is doing. And then it's getting ready for Detroit. And for Jay in the Bay YouTube channel this season, you can expect a pregame and postgame of all 49er games. You can expect, I'll talk about the opponent during the week. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How can the Niners exploit those weaknesses and things like that? Also, guests. I will be having guests on the show. I love hearing other 49er fans' perspectives on the team. And also, I'm going to try to get guests of the team who we're playing. So we played Detroit week 1. Hopefully, I can try to get a Detroit Lions fan to get their perspective on their offseason, on the team, what they expect their team to do in the regular season. So that's what you can expect from Jay and the Bay YouTube channel coming into the regular season. So hopefully everyone has a good rest of your night and have a productive work week. Stay safe. And I got to say, let's see if there's any more. Make sure there's any more comments. Okay. What you mean, KD? You act like I drink a lot of water, man. What you talking about, KD? Man, you'd be surprised. When you talk a lot, especially in front of people, I gotta stay hydrated, KD. But usually when I start the show, I fill up the cup. It's got ice, it's got water, and then I have another bottle that I put water in. So I would say probably at least 2 cups. But I gotta stay hydrated, KD. I'm talking a lot. So, but yeah, that's a great question, KD. Luke says he sips slow, and once it's gone, he sips on the melted ice for the remainder of the show. Executive producer may slip a refill if he's lucky. That's pretty good. But yeah, I need a lot for the show, man, because usually I'm on at least sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours. But great question, KD. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming through to the stream. Thanks for supporting Jay in the Bay. And shout out to Bashar, 49er Minded. Thanks for coming on to the show. I can't wait to collab with you again in the future. And everyone have a good rest of your night. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And Luke says, I feel you, brother. See you soon. See you soon, man. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.